Notre Dame versus A&M. Guys, I don't know. You might know. I'm the analyst. We'll see. It's a pick 'em at this point. Will they give the ball to Jeremiah Love? Only time will tell.
Guys, we have another amazing matchup in week 3. I mean, it's literally Papa John's the way that week 3 is delivering already. And we're not even in the beginning of the week. Texas A&M, remember, hosted Notre Dame last year, lost at home to Riley Leonard in a game that was just physical as hell. Well, now they're going up to South Bend to take on the Fighting Irish in their place in front of touchdown Jesus and everybody else up there in a mega matchup that if you're Notre Dame, number one, you're 0-1. You're coming off a bye week. You're independent. You're not in a conference, so you can't get that automatic qualifier. And you still got some landmines in the schedule. And that's not even looking at A&M, who is 2-0. I think Marcel Reed has looked pretty damn good. Blaine, Crain, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback as well. Blaine, what is the number? Give me the over-under and give me the spread in this matchup. Because you talk about postseason implications. This could be the difference in between 10-2 and 9-3, which can make all the difference in the world.
And I'm taking these lines off of FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, the over-under is at 50.5. The money under at -115. Notre Dame is favored of -6.5. That's even money. Texas A&M money line is +180.
David, we look at this quarterback matchup. You know, Marcel Reed right now in the season, he's 41-62, 7 touchdowns, 509 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing with a touchdown on 18 carries. We know what Craver has done since transferring in. But then you look at, I mean, a lot of people are going to be talking about C.J. Carr and this Notre Dame offense. And the first thing when I go back and think about the Miami game and we live stream it is the play calling. Like, yes, you will be at home this game, but how in the world does C.J. Carr have more carries than Jeremiah Love? If I'm the A&M defense, do I think that was just an anomaly? Or do I think they really think C.J. Carr is this dual threat? Let's go QB design run. Let's spit the ball out early in the game and now screens and things like that. I don't know if I believe what I saw from Mike Denbrock and the play calling in that first game.
First off, let's just talk about how great it is to get this sort of out-of-conference matchup as a home and home. And we said this a year ago. Remember, that game was one of the most physical football games that we saw in 2024. Yep. And I'm really interested to see do we return to that sort of physicality? Because for Texas A&M so far 2 weeks in, very similar performances so far against UTSA and against Utah State, scoring over 40 points each time, but allowing over 20 points. Now you're going to go on the road and face a Notre Dame team that didn't look great in week 1, but is coming off of a bye. Remember, we said Notre Dame has maybe the 2 toughest games to open the season, but they at least get that bye week in between. Yes, Jake, what you're saying is correct. There's 2 things that really kind of surprised me against Miami for Notre Dame, one on each side of the ball. On offense, I really didn't understand the game plan and not just at least testing Miami, whose defense a year ago really couldn't stop anyone. Let's just be more physical than them, the way Notre Dame was against most teams last year, including on the road when they had to go to College Station and beat Texas A&M. We really didn't see that, and that was surprising. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they were committed to man coverage, and that worked in some spots, but Miami had a lot of success, particularly on third down with those whip routes or even the double move snag route, which the safety had an opportunity to blow up CJ Daniels, but played the ball instead, and you get this great one-handed touchdown. Those are some things I'm interested to see. Is that an anomaly, or is Miami just really good and Texas A&M was able to solve those issues in the off week, or were maybe we looking at some issues that that is who Notre Dame's going to be this year?
Well, look, I think a lot of that, and you're able to run all these routes and combinations and guys going one way, then going the other, then going another way because you have time. Like if A&M's offensive line gives Marcel Reed that type of time with his ability to run, A&M could run the checkup on offense against this defense in man. And A&M's got some dudes that can do it. And that's not even to say. I mean, we look at Mario Craver, what he's done. You look at KC Concepcion, we know what he can do. I can go down the list. Bussy, the guys out of the backfield, Ruben Owens being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, as well as Moss. I just look at Notre Dame and I wonder, do they have the personnel to be able to not only get to Marcel Reed, but when they get to him, get him down? Because, again, Carson Beck was able to extend some plays from within the pocket. Marcel can do it from within the pocket and outside of the pocket. So Notre Dame's going to be who they are. They're going to run a lot of man coverage, right? They're going to try and press you. They're going to show pressure and get out of it, this, that, and the other. I'm just looking at Texas A&M on offense with this running quarterback, and I wonder if they're able to put the pressure on Notre Dame, maybe going up early on the road to where C.J. Carr does have to throw it around more. But, Blaine, I'm more worried about A&M's defense against Notre Dame than I am about A&M's offense against Notre Dame.
If you've been living on credit cards just to cover groceries, gas, and bills, well, you know interest rates are brutal. Why keep paying 20% or more to the banks when you could call our friends at American Financing? They have mortgage rates in the 5s, and they're showing people every day how to keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket and out of the hands of credit card companies. Right now, American Financing is helping homeowners save an average of $800 a month. That's a ton. By using their home equity to wipe out high-interest debt with no upfront fees, no obligation, and just a 10-minute call to a salary-based mortgage consultant. And here's the kicker. If you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments, putting even more cash in your hands right away. So don't wait. Call American Financing now. Call 866-885-1081 or visit http://www.americanfinancing.net/Crain and Company for details about credit costs and terms. APR for rates in the 5 start at 6.32% for well-qualified borrowers. NLMS 182334, https://nmslsconsumeraccess.org.
Yeah, and you should be, because they haven't looked great.
No.
In both games, in my opinion. And I know the talents, I mean, those are somewhat of quality teams. But my big thing is this, like, we've already brought this up. It's one, to have the personnel. Two, it's to give it to the personnel. Notre Dame needs to realize who they are, okay? And your best player on that offense is Jeremiah Love. He will be the difference in football games. He needs to be fed for 4 quarters throughout the game. All right, and that's only going to make life easier for C.J. Carr. And on the other side, is Marcel Reed good enough in the air to beat you? Can he throw you to a win if you're Texas A&M? Because as good as it is, it blows my mind that Marcel Reed has the most carries on this football team. When you have Reuben Owens and Moss at running back, you have 2 legitimate S-tier backs, and he's still leading the team in carries. I don't think you're going to get away with that against Notre Dame, the way Marcus Freeman is going to scheme them up. I can see him escaping the pocket and making a couple plays, but I'm making Marcel Reed beat me through the air in this game, and I'll tip my cap and we'll get on the bus and go instead of just letting him beat me through the ground like they've done the first 2 games.
Well, if you're upset about Marcel Reed leading the team in carries at the quarterback position, wait till I tell you who leads the team in carries for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Again, if I'm Mike Elko, this defensive staff, I don't believe you. I'm watching that film against Miami. I don't believe you. Like, there's no way you go away. I'm not saying don't give the ball to Price.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, to me, Jeremiah Love, that's your superhero.
Well, here's the thing. To that point against Miami, if Jeremiah Love only had a couple carries and didn't rush for that many yards, but it was because Price is a heck of a back. It's because Price went off for 120 and you just have a 1-2 punch. And it's because Faison and Greathouse both had over 100 yards receiving, and the kid who transferred in from Virginia. And C.J. Carr was pulling it on zone read, and he had another 65 or 75 on the ground. And it was just, there's too many mouths to feed, and we're giving it to you every which way, and we beat Miami by 21 points. Then that's different, right? Then, man, we need some answers on offense against this Miami defense, and we're not even trying to get it to the guy who might be preseason the best running back in the country. That's what kind of confused me a bit.
No, without a doubt, something's got to give. And you're at home, so obviously it'll be a little bit different. I know A&M's going to travel, but Notre Dame's going to pack that thing out. So from a C.J. Carr standpoint, it should be a little bit easier to operate. We'll see with A&M. I didn't think going into this game that the thing that I would be questioning the most is the defense's ability to stop big plays. And again, we've only seen A&M versus UTSA, who you're obviously better than, Utah State, who you're obviously better than, and it hasn't looked great. You wonder, has there been, everybody talks about holding things back on the offensive side against teams you're better than to save for other teams. You do that a little bit defensively, but I do think there's some problems with A&M from a efficiency standpoint, which is crazy to think of because Mike Elko is really good at getting every ounce out of every player that he has. But guys, I mean, again, another matchup to look. If you're A&M, we could talk about your wide receivers, but Notre Dame's got to be able to take some shots down the field and hit some shots down the field to open up for Jeremiah Love and for CJ when he wants to take off. We look at you look at the pieces that Notre Dame has, and you feel pretty good about them being able to hit the big play. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw some play action shots playing early from Notre Dame in this game to kind of open up some room for the run later.
Yeah, and you've seen this A&M defense give up big plays throughout these two games, right? And if you're for CJ Carr and Notre Dame, not only is that huge just to put points on the board, but for his confidence. Yeah. And I think CJ Carr, from a first start standpoint, he was on the upper echelon of quarterbacks the way he played compared to everybody else in the country. And saying that, while we're not giving Jeremiah Love the football is insane, I think CJ Carr is going to play better. Greathouse has got to show up and be the difference. But, Jake, I agree with you. This Texas A&M defense will give up big shots. Big shots. So if you're Notre Dame and you're the offense coordinator, you cannot be afraid to take them, especially at home, even if you don't hit them, just to have that threat. But you flip it on the other side, too. Casey Concepcion's been a big hitter already for A&M. So he's going to be one of my key pieces to get involved early, not only down the field, but let's bring some jet sweeps. Let's get him behind the line of scrimmage. Let's get him in some RPOs. How many times can I get this guy involved in the play just to have him as a threat, as a weapon that the defense has to take accountability?
Well, I think you're going to see him as the main motion guy to see what covers they're in and try and get into that matchup. To hit those big plays. But, guys, I'm telling you right now, I love the over in this game.
Interesting.
I love the over.
Why is that?
49.5. I think a lot of people are gonna remember the game from last year and think it's going to be that type of game. I don't think this is going to be that knockdown, drag-out, low scoring. I think there's going to be some big plays in this one. Okay. I like the over 49.5. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I like A&M in this one. I like Marcel Reed in this one. I do. I mean, he's been to the swamp. He's played in hostile environments. I like him. This will be one of my dog bets, right? I see it at A&M as a 6.5 point dog with the over under 49.5.
Blaine, what do you think about the over under, and who are you taking?
If I had to put my money on anything, I'd put the money on the over just because of what Marcel Reed can do with his feet and the tendency of Texas A&M giving up big plays. I think Texas A&M plus 7.5 is probably the best bet on this board if you can buy that up a point. And I'll go further than that. I got Texas A&M winning this game as well. They'll be one of my dog bets as well. Give me A&M. Give me – God, I want to do the same. Okay, give me A&M 31, Notre Dame 24.
Okay.
I'm telling you what I got, Coney. I'm telling you what I got. I got 38-34.
Okay. Okay. I'm really glad you guys said this because it got to a point that I wanted to bring up, which is with a really cool out of conference week 3 matchup like this. What makes it so fascinating is we have just enough sample size to have questions, right? But not enough sample size to know yet what's the true identity of all of these teams around the country, not just these two. I wouldn't be. I think it's going to be a close football game, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's 17-14, and I also wouldn't be surprised at all if it's 38-35. Yeah. Very rarely do the three of us get together and say, like, I don't know if they're going to score 30 combined points or 70 combined points, just because there's so much that we don't know, and that we had questions that are making us scratch our head, particularly on both sides of the football for these teams. Right now, I'm going to take the home team. Give me the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at home, but I'm going to go 31-27. So that would lean the over, even though I'll tell you what, if both of them went out there like last year and it's 17-14, I really wouldn't be surprised. And that would tell us a lot moving forward as these teams, move forward in their respective schedules going forward.
No doubt. Well, all right, we're going to pin the top comment. Give us your score. A&M going to Notre Dame, just an incredible matchup. One of the many incredible matchups that we have in week 3. We've got a couple previews already out. We got a whole week 2 recap that you need to check out. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't and lock in this week. We got a bunch going on, some big time guests here at Crain and Company. Like the chances of us not being excited already about it. We're going. Gone.